I'm Scott, and I am an American in Bangkok. There were some great responses to the video I put up. Popular tourist destination only wants your money. And I thought it would be good to read some of the comments because I think they're pretty illuminating. If you haven't seen the video yet, I will put the link down in the description, and it will be at the end of this video. It'll be down in the description with a host of other information. But sometimes I wonder, if I were a politician, such as the aforementioned Anutin Chanwirakun, would I be so apt to insert my foot in my mouth every time I spoke? Now, it's not such an easy question, actually, because, I tend to do that, and I'm not a politician. So you would think that they, not only him, but many other politicians around the world, they would step their game up and they would not be releasing information to the media and then backtracking. And, of course, the media takes some of the blame for this. But every single time it seems like they release some information, then they backtrack. Release some information, then they backtrack. And one thing that took some time for me to get used to here is the phrase, "I'm sorry." And, Thais will go, "Oh, sorry, sorry." And sometimes, it's appropriate, it's okay. But sometimes I'm like, no, listen, instead of saying you're sorry all the time, like, sorry, sorry, I'm late. Well, how about you don't be late? You solved the problem so you don't have to say you're sorry. And it just seems to me that from the beginning, Anutin has been creating various forms of ill will with foreigners. And, one of them is when he called foreigners, he said maybe some dirty Farangs is who brought in the COVIDs. I don't know, maybe that was taken out of context, but I don't think so. And, the way that they're acting now, I would say, hey, you know what? Go for it. Go for the big money. Just go for the big dough. Go for the whales. Be the casino, which you don't have here. You don't have a casino here. So what's different now from before? All right, there are some things different. The infrastructure is a little better. Financial infrastructure, transportation infrastructure, economic infrastructure, whatever, however you want to put it. There are various forms of infrastructure that have gotten better in Thailand. Okay, that's great. However, you can still go out of a five-star hotel and walk out into a neighborhood and look and go, okay, well, this place has character. That's a nice way of putting it. Now, most countries, even luxury destinations, they tend to have, how shall I say, shitholes around. Sometimes you see them, sometimes you don't. But I would say Thailand would need to step up their game a bit in order to get into what I would consider a truly luxurious destination. And I have been to a few really nice places here. And they have taken good care of me, and my wife, and my kids. But anyway, let me just get to some of the comments from the readers because some of them are pretty insightful. All right, I'm going to go through these pretty quickly until we get to one that I really, really like. I think they're being controlled by other outside interests. Who isn't being controlled by other outside interests? They're banks or China or United Nations. Someone is controlling their political system for sure. Okay, well, that, listen, we're just guessing. Honestly, I don't mind less tourists in Thailand, but they are really screwing up the country by not attracting more normal Westerners. By normal, I think you mean people with whose income falls below what could be construed as filthy rich or extremely well off or whatever you might want to say. And, that brings you to another point. How much is rich? $1 million is no longer really rich. Although, you can have a nice life here with $1 million, especially if you're like 50 years old. You can have a great life here. But is that really rich? No. Is that really wealthy? I don't know. I'll take $1 million, of course. I'm not going to complain about it. But I would say, 5, 10 million. That's wealthy. And where do you get to the point where it's the FU money? How much is that? 50 million? 30 million? I'd say you're getting there. When you hit about 20 million, you're starting to get to that FU money, or maybe even 10. What do I know? I don't have a million, so. Okay, let's see here. Without money coming in and getting businesses to Western standards, not many people are going to want to come, and that's just the truth. Not surprised. Okay, another comment here. I can't think of why. Okay, let's see here. What is this? No. The billionaire elites have placed hand-picked politicians in the cabinets of all the Western democracies via the Young Global Leaders Program of the World Economic Forum, Thailand including. Therefore, national political decisions do not necessarily reflect national interest. The global elitists understand that the politics, as usual, will run the planet off the Malthusian and ecological cliff. Bill must act now. He has acted now. So fewer mass-market tourists burning up less jet fuel to preserve country club Earth for its rightful owners, billionaires. I'm not really one of these conspiracy theory guys, but it does seem like this thing is dragging out a little bit, and I don't know that every reason is medical or political. Some might be financial, but, again, what do I know? I am just the orator here. I am just the speaker. I'm just the YouTuber, all right? Which person will spend 10 million Thai baht or more to buy a new condo in Bangkok and be denied a permanent residence visa by investment because they do not speak Thai? Well, there is something to be said about, listen, if you really want to live in the country, you should be able to speak halfway decent Thai. You should be able to speak at a, say, 6th grade, 9th grade level. You should be able to. I would agree with that. I'm sorry. All right. Government hacks don't know shit about the rough and tumble private sector or how hard it always was to make a buck in it. Government is always made up of a bunch of individuals who realize that their meat and potatoes comes from having a monopoly on the lives of the rest of us. The smartest people in any country can be found in the business sector. The smartest people go after the money. Certainly, they are not in government. The backpackers' money is no less green than the tycoons' is, and I agree with that. Not all backpackers are, dirt poor and they have absolutely no money. They may be cheap because they want to stay for a longer period of time. They want to stay for 6 months. They don't want to stay for a month or two and live off of $5,000. They want to live for 6 months off of $5,000. And that's, so they're willing to splurge once in a while. You cannot just slander all the backpackers. That's, there used to be this stereotypical image amongst expats that they're a bunch of dirty, grungy cheapskates. Of course there are some, but there are some wealthy people who are cheapskates as well. Let me move on here. This is the worst time to discourage financial stability. They all want to be high-end destinations for the ultra-rich. Problem is, there's a finite number, there you go right there, of mega wealthy tourists who aren't interested in the low-end facilities offered in most of Asia. Yeah, that's the thing. I don't know that, I don't know if Thailand is set up for that. I think it'd take them a few years, at least 4 or 5 years, to really step it up. And then after 10, 15 years, yeah, all right, maybe they got a plan. I don't know. Another question, how do these people get in office? Well, I don't know for sure, but I think some of them, they just pay some money. But I'm not sure. I don't know. What do I know? It's supposed to be voted in, appointed and all that other kind of stuff. Another politician talking nonsense. There you go. Thailand wants a higher class of tourists, yet essentially legalizes marijuana. It's not essential. It is legal. Thailand apparently wants high-class potheads. What do you think? You think that some of the actors and actresses and government officials and rock stars, they're not smoking weed? And they're filthy rich, some of these people. Come on. Nancy, for all we know, Nancy Pelosi could be, you know, she goes home. She lights up a fatty every time she goes home. You don't know. You know, somehow I don't think she's taking a piss test. For all you know, she could be hitting and getting some of the best stuff around, and every night she's like, woo, this is my glass of wine, honey. I need this fatty. I need a nice big doobie, and I'll feel a lot better. I mean, you know, so this is ridiculous. Sorry, but this comment, I predict the government will get their wish, less tourists. Same socioeconomic demographics as before, just less of them. Well, you got a point there. Let's see here. After the last 2.5 years, and this is what I like. After the last 2.5 years of this nonsense, you'd think they'd be more welcoming. And if you remember, and you may not, I remember that towards the beginning of this whole ordeal, there was a time when the government came out and said, hey, listen, you know, expats, if you could travel, we'd really appreciate it. You know, come on out and travel. And now it's like, you know, they need you when they need the money from you. And there's an old saying here, I've said it a million times, they want your money, but they don't want you. They would love to be able to have you fly over in your plane. Could be a piece of junk for all they care. Could be a wonderful, you know, private jet. Tens of millions of dollars. And you just start dumping those bags of cash out. Sometimes people feel that way. And I can't say that I felt that strongly for a long time, but there is a little something to it, you know. I think they should just focus on people that have money and are nice enough to visit their country. Well, that is, excuse me for saying this, but that does not seem to be the Asian way. The Asian way is, you're going to pay money to come to my country, and whether you like it or not is up to you, but you should feel honored to pay to get into my country. You know, I understand both sides up to a point, but I think that, you know, Westerners tend to think, hey, I'm paying good money. You know, it may not be $500 a night, $1,000 a night, but I'm paying good money. Why can't I come in? Anyway, let's see here. But they have to understand that there are a very small amount of rich people in the world, and these people have all types of choices for the vacation money. They go to the Maldives, Maui, Tahiti. As a general rule, they don't go to Bangkok and deal with traffic and pollution and smelly canals and all these other kind of things that you can find here. Not in every location, but they are around. Everybody knows it. But good luck to them. Okay. I have always heard, what's in a name? No surprise if that's a political name like Beto, Asians, a nut in Thailand, deputy premier, government, okay, check math. Currently, 40 billion baht from 40 million tourists. I believe actually that it is 2 trillion baht from 40 million tourists. Goal is 40 billion baht from 20 million tourists. Older adults have much more money than 20-year-old backpackers. So retirement visa requirements should go to 25 and 2 million baht. Nope, that's good for a 1-year bump. Okay, I guess. A government official has delusions of grandeur. What's new? As much as I like Thailand, it is in no way a premium destination. As an affordable destination, it's great. As I said yesterday, affordability, versatility. But if money were no object, I would not even consider it being a holiday destination. And I've often thought, if money were no object, would I still live here? Well, I would probably live here part-time because I'm married to a Thai, because, you know, I've been here for many years. This is home, right? But if I really had some big money, I might have 4, 5, 6 homes. I might travel around every couple of months, which is what a lot of people do who have a lot of money. Anyway, lately they seem focused on Indian tourists, and they will want People's Republic of China tour groups back. None of them are big spenders, but that's today's reality. The Thai government is nuts. After COVID, they should be fighting, I agree with this, tooth and nail for every type of tourist looking to travel. Every bot coming into the country would help. I've been to Ibiza, Marbella, and Lake Como and never seen the streets flood after a downpour and then the streets stench of raw sewage. And yet they're targeting wealthy tourists. Not many beggars on the streets of Lake Como. Well, there are some beggars around, yeah, in Bangkok for sure. There are, and I had forgotten about the flooding in the streets of Bangkok that occurs. They have attempted to make it a little better, but on the whole, you will still find that. You will still have raw sewage and stinks and all kinds of funky smells coming out. And I don't know. I mean, like if I'm paying. Listen, I know people who have some money. I have a few friends that have some money. And what they've told me is, why would I spend $3,000 or $5,000 a night in Bangkok? Why? Some of them, it's like, hey, I can get a 5-star hotel for $300. What do I want to go to some resort for? All right, maybe they'll pay once in a great while, but people who are wealthy are not stupid. They have ways of getting things. They use points. They, from all their stays. And so, I just think they're getting carried away. Let's see here. The price point in Thailand is what it is, and raising prices too much is bound to piss people off and put them off from visiting the country, scaring away the lower and middle income visitors. And guess what happens if you do that? In the future, there's going to be less expats who want to live here. Only the truly wealthy will live here. Well, they're going to do that, but they're probably going to get, I don't know, I'm going to just guess and say 5%, 2% of the $2 trillion that they got a few years ago, 2019. Big money, FU money brings with it choices. Maybe I'll jet over to Johnny's in Mykonos. Maybe I'll see if Keith is on Parrot Cay Island or Mick is on Mystique. And if not, I'll just go to my place in Paris because I have a place there, Maybe I'll hit Tahiti up. If you think about it very simply, if you go into a phone shop, you think of Thailand as a phone shop. You go into a phone shop. Most phone shops in Thailand have multiple brands that they sell. And you know why? Well, some people are loyal to brand, brand loyalty and all that stuff. But, not everybody can afford a $1,300 US or, say, 45,000 baht iPhone. So guess what they get? They get themselves a little 5,000, 6,000 baht, like $200, 7,000 baht, $200 Samsung, and they're fine with it. That's why they carry all those. Well, guess what? Thailand only wants to sell the very, very highest end cell phone. That's, to me, what it's like. And so, well, I thought of this because I was thinking, didn't I go to Ross and it was supposed to be, a good place, but it was cheap. And if you remember, there's a place in the United States called Ross, Dress for Less. The name of the place is Ross. Thailand is the Ross, Dress for Less, of luxury tourist destinations. All right, they're right on the edge of being a luxury tourist destination. But they have not reached the highest of highs. You're not getting a fine silk suit from Italy when you come to Thailand, when you come to Ross Dress for Less. Okay? They're not there, and it's going to take them some time. But as long as Thailand has beautiful beaches, beautiful women, and reasonably priced hotels, it's always going to be a tourist destination. That is, if it remains a decent value. Even super rich people. Look at Warren Buffett. Perfect example. They want a deal. They want to see value in what they're paying for. I think we're beating this to death. Thailand needs to be very, very careful what they do, because I know quite a few people who have already said, I'm not going back there. It's got to be years before I go back. I don't care. I'll go somewhere else. You know, if you're in the United States, there's a lot of places you can go. You don't have to fly halfway around the world. Anyway, I have rambled on enough. Just unbelievable. Unbelievable what this guy allows to come out of his mouth. But if you have questions, comments, or thoughts on this matter or any other, please do me a favor and leave a comment down below. Let's see, anything else? No, that's it. I am done. Don't forget to get yourself a t-shirt. There's several different kinds, many different sizes and colors. Get yourself a hat, get yourself a mug. Go to AmericanInBangkok.com. Anyway, I'm Scott. I'm an American in Bangkok. Choke the little jerk and my, which is good luck and see you later.